Hello, everybody. This is Samson Tedessa from Winnipeg, Manitoba. And basically, I am here hosting a weekly event, basically, that's we set up as the Fanos Children Support Inc. It's, it's just a kind of platform that we set up basically to come together and to share our experiences, and also to raise and talk about topics that's related to education and range of topics that we think is very important for us. And so I actually was expecting some people to come in, and unfortunately most of the people were not able to come in because of some kind of other responsibilities, and also the time difference, because people come from different places. But nevertheless, I just decided to basically, continue, talking about some of the things that, we're planning to talk about today. And I'm just preparing the short video, so with the hope of actually just, providing, some information that may benefit you. And I hope it does. And basically, it means so much for us, because we really care about children's in youth education at the Fanos Light Children Supporting. In the organization itself, I want to talk a little bit about the organization. The organization is called the Fanos Light Children Supporting. As I said, it's a kind of organization found in Winnipeg, Manitoba in February 2019. And we have 5 board members here in Winnipeg, and also some people from Nigeria and some other people from Ethiopia, and also working as a contributor and a supporter of our organization. We have also so many volunteers, wonderful people actually working with us and supporting us. Actually, we're kind of running an after-school program here in Winnipeg, Canada, beginning from this month, and they've been doing so great, actually planning this after-school program, which basically some other time we can come and share about this program itself, and our experience working on this program. We can share it with the team, the Fanos Light team. And this is basically what the Fanos Light Children Support Inc. is all about. It's about education. It's about supporting children in youth education here in Winnipeg and beyond. Of course, we want to go everywhere wherever the need is. And we've been talking about this for a long time, because what we have in our heart is we want to just support all young people and children who may have some need. And we know that we're very privileged here in Canada. We have a lots of resources here, and there are people and children and youth some other places may not have the resource and the opportunity that they need and support they need that will help them actually succeed in their studies. So we want to play our part and our role to bring some kind of resources, some kind of opportunity that they may need. And that's what we're kind of working toward. And also we know that, by the way, we do absolutely believe in the power and the potential of every children and every young people, wherever they are. We believe in the potential. We don't only consider or focus on the needs, we also focus and consider the potential that they have. That's the reason why we actually are very, very grateful, just to be able to be here and to kind of, provide them the support they need so that they can do well in their studies and other aspects of life. And so today, actually, I've been thinking about, kind of talking about the importance of education in general, what education is all about. But at the same time, we want to talk about some of the theories and the principles of teaching and learning that I've been studying and I've been trying to also incorporate in our work that we're working here in Winnipeg, Canada, and also in Ethiopia. Praise the Lord. And so I'm gonna actually share a few slide that I have here. I'm gonna talk to you about what we were planning today. And obviously, I don't know if I may share the screen. Let me do that, and I will continue. Okay, share screen, and window, Microsoft. Okay, I'm not sure if we have it here. Let me see. Okay. cannot share here. Let me just save it here. Browse. Just give me a minute, please. I'm going to share it on the desktop, and let's see if I can be able to share it. Okay. Okay. Let me try again. Cancel. Share screen. Ooh. How come I can't see this? Okay. So okay, without sharing the screen, I can just go through the slide, and I'll probably share with you a few things that's been on the screen. And the first thing that yeah, this is just, as I said, it's a weekly kind of conversation. It's not a meeting, by the way. I want you to understand, it's not a meeting. It's a kind of platform where we have a kind of dialogue and conversation, you know, by asking questions, you know, reflecting our views and opinion, our thinking, and our views. You know, we want to see how our views are, you know, kind of reflected in here, right? So we're also raising topics, and we kind of discuss on those topics, right? So it's not a meeting, it's kind of discussion. That's what we're thinking about. Actually, last week we were discussing with our team here. It should be a kind of discussion platform, all right? So education through the Finance Light Children Support Inc. That's okay. Today I'm the one actually was just taking the responsibility of leading the discussion. So my name is Samson Tadessa, by the way, and I'm the director and the founder of the Finance Light Children Support Inc. I'm also working as educational assistant here in Canada, Pembina Trans School Division. And yeah, this is pretty much about me. I studied education, and I love the idea of education itself. I love you know, learning about theories and principles of teaching and learning. I love to learn about approach of education. You know, I love to learn about, you know, all other components in education, which is, you know, many things that, you know, we can talk about in education. So basically, this slide, this presentation is all about kind of talking about some of the views about education. I can begin by defining what's education. We all know what education is, but I'm kind of defining it for the purpose of our discussion. We believe education is both the act of learning, the act of teaching knowledge or to others, and also the act of receiving knowledge from someone else. You know, that's basically what I was thinking about, because education, it's a kind of the idea of sharing knowledge and receiving knowledge. It's not one way, it's both ways, okay? When we're talking about education, we're talking about sharing the knowledge and information that you have, at the same time receiving information from others. That's what we think about. And also, education also refers to the knowledge received through schooling or instruction through institution of teaching as a whole. That's what the definition of education. And also, when we're talking about education, it's about the way the education system is structured. You know, there is preschool, there's elementary school, there is high school, there is college, and also there is universities, right? That's how education is working and functioning, through organizing these kinds of, it's kind of organizing this kind of institutions. All right, the next slide. You know, what's education? Of course, we talked about education, what's all it about. And also, when we're talking about education, we're actually talking about broad and very broad topic. And when we are talking about education, we might be talking about a very broad concept, and also combination of concepts or ideas and ideologies, all right? When we're talking about education, we may also be talking about the theories and the principles of teaching and learning. That's what also education is about, all right? We're talking about education is about theories and principles, that people spend time and trying to find out some theories that can be applied, that can be used to share this knowledge and to receive knowledge also. That's what education you know, is about. And also, when we're talking about education, we might be talking about the approach of education, the theories and the principles, how those theories and principles been applied, how the philosophies of, you know, people working in education area, or people who are involving in education system. So it's a very broad concept. We're talking about education. Also, education, when we're talking about education, we're also maybe talking about the actual process of teaching and learning, because there is a classroom, there is teaching and learning. There is a teacher, there is a student, there is also the principal who's running the school. So we're talking about those processes of teaching and learning. So when we're talking about education, we might be talking about those things. Also, when we're talking about education, maybe we might be talking about the main components of education. As I mentioned it before, there are 5 main components in education. There is a teacher, there is a student, there is a administration working as an administrator in a school, and also there are professionals actually working in a school, 4 of them. And also there are parents, basically are actually or caregivers of the students, who are actually are the main components in teaching learning, which is the student, basically, which are the student. So we think when we're talking about education, we are talking about these 5 components itself, right? Also, when we're talking about education, we might be talking about education, about the process itself. That's what I said, actually. We might be also talking about the structure, as I said earlier, the structure of the school, how the school is structured. Nowadays, we can see there's people who are actually teaching in a preschool, which is the kind of place where kids will come and develop some of their skill, their motor skill, their thinking skill, their language skill, other skills. That's basically taught in a preschool. There is also a school which is actually designed like as elementary school, from grade 1 mostly to grade 6 and 5. In some place they call it middle school, also from 7 and 8. And there is a high school. High school mostly are people who are actually from grades from grade 9 to grade 12. Okay, this is the high school. And the other ones are basically, as we know, there is a college, and also there is the universities. That's basically providing knowledge and providing knowledge, skills, and experiences for students to acquire. So that is what, when we're talking about education, I said, we're talking about this broad topic. So it's a very broad topic, but we will spend time throughout our conversations, throughout our discussion. We'll raise every topic, we'll talk about them, and we'll see also how we can apply these things into the things that we are doing through the final slide, and also, through other organizations we're partnering with. All right, let's continue. Okay. Also, by the way, when I was thinking about education, I was thinking about some quotations that some great people, wonderful people that contributed significantly in this world, very successful people who said something about education. I brought some quotes to you today, so I want you to kind of think about them. And if you have time, please think about them and reflect upon them and see what you're thinking about it. All right. So Nelson Mandela, as you know, Nelson Mandela is a very respectful and very amazing and successful person in our planet, because he has done so many great things. He achieved so many things. And also he has shown us how wonderful and great leader he is. And he said, actually, education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. That's what he said. He also said, I have cherished the idea of democratic and free society in which all persons live together in harmony and equal opportunity. That's wonderful. I really love this quote, so I would just want to share it with you. And the other quote that I brought it came from the person who once was a United Nations higher official, United Nations top official from the United Nations. His name is Kofi Annan. He was born in Ghana, and he was a very successful person. He believed in education, in the power of education. He has done so many great things in the area of education. And he said, knowledge is power and information is liberating. Education is the promise of progress in every society, in every family. So you can see how important, how he viewed how important education is. And the other quotation comes from him also. He said, education is a human right with immense power to transform. On its foundation rests the cornerstone of freedom, democracy, and sustainable human development. That's what Kofi Annan said. I want to add a little bit of I think 2 more quotations from one of my favorite person in education. It comes from a person called Howard Gardner. He's an educator. He's an educational psychologist and educator who's been amazingly contributing to the field of education in the last, 30, 14 years. And I've been studying about him, and I was fascinated by his theory. It's called the theory of multiple intelligence. I don't know if you know about that. I recommend you to read his book. which is a theory of multiple intelligence written by himself. And he is an amazing, amazing educator, and I love his ideas and his theories and principle. And this is what he said, actually. Howard Gardner once said, the biggest mistake of the past centuries in teaching has been to treat all students as if they were variants of the same individuals, and thus to feel justified in teaching them all the same subject the same way. Wow, that's really amazing quotation, because in the past we're only focusing on the major subjects, physics, and I mean maths and English and maybe science. Those are the area of focus, and mostly those people who come up actually with those grades are get those good grades, considered to be the most intelligent people, and they are the one who's provided the opportunity to study a more sophisticated and more complicated subject, and the rest actually were not considered intelligent. And this guy, actually the guy who came up actually with an idea of there are different intelligence also, not necessarily this is the only intelligence that we have different people may have different intelligence. So he came up with the theory of multiple intelligence. In his theory, he actually suggested there are nine theories of intelligences. Actually, he said there are 9 intelligences, which he explained in his theory that every children may have one of the intelligences, from this 9. So he's an amazing person. He also said, by the way, another quotation that comes from him, he said, until now, most schools in most cultures have stressed a certain combination of linguistic and logical intelligence. Beyond question, he said, that combination is important for mastering the agenda of school. But we have gone too far in ignoring the other intelligences by minimizing the importance of other intelligences within the outside of school. We consign many students who fail to exhibit the proper, he said, blend to believe that they are stupid. And we do not take advantage of ways in which multiple intelligences can be exploited to further the goal of school and broader culture. That's what Howard Gardner said. The same theory that I say, like, mostly we were thinking about focusing on only intelligence, IQ, basically, like, those kids who have high IQ are the one who's going to be succeeding, the rest are not, right? That's what the thinking was. But this guy came up with these theories and challenging the theory of education. By the way, I would love to talk about these theories in the next while. We'll have definitely have another opportunity to talk about those theories. But he came up with the theory of multiple intelligence. So today, basically, I think I will not take much time. I'll talk a little bit about some of the theories that we have, and I think next week we'll be talking about some of the theories, but I'll just mention some of the theories that have been there for a long time, which actually guided and in our education system, wherever we are, our education system is guided by these theories and principles. I'm going to just mention them today, and next week, if we have another opportunity, we definitely will talk about 2 of the theories, which is the theory of behaviorism theory and the constructivism theory. Okay, before I say, let me just mention them. There are 8 of them that we know. There will be more, but 8 of the main theories that we have in our education system. One of the main theories is the theory of cognitive theory of learning. All right, the first theory is called the cognitive theory of learning. We'll talk about that next week. And the other main theories that we know about is the behaviorism theory of learning. Okay, the third theory is the constructivism theory of learning, and the fourth theory is called the humanism theory of learning. There is another way, of course, there are another theory that's coming in the recent past. It's called the connectivism theory of learning. It's a new theory, kind of developed in the last probably 10-15 years or so. It's also a theory. There is some suggestion coming through this theory. We'll talk about them in details. There is a transformative theory of learning that's also pretty much new. Transformative theory of learning. There is a social theory of learning, and there is experiential theory of learning. So these are the eight theory of learning. Next week, if we have time, if we are living and be there next week. And definitely we'll be talking about cognitive theory of learning and also behaviorism theory of learning, the two theories that we'll be talking about next week. All right. So I think that's what I was thinking about for today, and I am sure we'll talk more about next week, and I'm sure I will see everybody in this platform also coming to discuss and to share our ideas and our work and our experience. At the same time, we want to come here and share our knowledge and experiences. I also want to hear from you. So until next week, I just this is what I have for today, and I hope I'll see you next week. All right, bye bye.